What's going on, guys? Hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. So Bitcoin just hit 21K and a lot of people are asking, should I buy Bitcoin now or should I hold or should I sell, right? So I can't give you any financial advice, but just giving my own opinion and looking at the facts, then you guys can decide for yourself whether you should buy, sell or hold Bitcoin, right? So if we take a look at a bit of technical analysis, we can see that this is the FTX collapse and then it bottomed out at about 15.5K and it's been trading sideways, and then we have this big breakout here, right? So in the past, I think it's 1.5 months, we could have been accumulating Bitcoin. Even 2.5 months, we could have been accumulating Bitcoin, right? So a lot of people are asking whether this has ended the bear market, right? So I personally don't think so, because macro and all is still very bad, right? So you do have to realize that when macro gets washed out, right? Let's say the Dow or S&P or Nasdaq is down 50-60%, right? Bitcoin is going to follow it down, right? So Nasdaq is already down 30%, and that's actually the good news, right? Because a lot of stocks there are cheaper and a lot of companies are selling for cheaper prices, right? The Dow is the worrisome one, which is something I'm personally short. It's only down 6% from its all-time high, and S&P is down, I think, about 20 or 18% now. So if we take a look at all of that, and you say that, I think the macro picture is still not so good. I think there is still further decline, right? And this is you making a forecast, right? And we know how useful forecasts are, right? But which is not very useful. But we do need the forecast, right? If we have placed some bets or placed some trades, right? So because if you don't have any idea what's going to happen, and you can't put probabilities on what's going to happen, then basically you can't be in the markets, right? Because whatever happens, you'll be surprised by it, right? So I'm not asking you to predict or 100% certain that this will happen, right? I'm asking you to put probabilities on things that will happen and structure your portfolio accordingly, right? So before you enter, you have to ask yourself, right? What is your exit plan for Bitcoin? Do you want to exit 5 days later and make 20% like people did here, right? So if you bought at 17K, basically 3-4 days later, you're making 25-30% on your money, right? Is that your plan? Because if that's your plan, personally, I think maybe that's not such a good plan, but you can make your own decision, right? Because you can see it's 2.5 months and then you get this pump, right? So how can you catch this pump like few days before the pump, right? Unless you're extremely lucky, and luck is not a repeatable process, right? So ask yourself that, right? And ask yourself whether it will go, all the way to the moon, right? If some people's plans are, Bitcoin bear market is over, it's going to go to 100K. So ask yourself whether that is very plausible and what are the odds you put on that, right? And then if you say you are accumulating for the long term, ask yourself what you fundamentally value this asset at, right? Because if you say that, okay, I saved 10% of my wealth because if anything happens, if my other funds get frozen by the government or something extreme happens to the world, I have 10% of my wealth in Bitcoin as schmuck insurance, right? And to me, that would be a very, very good thesis, right? Because you don't know what will happen in the world. You don't know whether you get your assets frozen by the government. So if that is the case, that is the reason you're buying it, then that is a good reason, right? Whether it goes down to 5K, whether it goes down to 10K, it doesn't matter, right? Because this is your reasoning, right? Because you want to, stop your money from being frozen or whatever it is. So the reasoning behind it matters, right? Good reasoning doesn't 100% lead to good outcomes, right? Because you can invest in Bitcoin or speculate in Bitcoin and you say that, okay, I'm putting my money here, so it can't be frozen, and then it goes to zero, then you lose 10% of your portfolio, right? But let's say if the other things go as according to plan, right? Let's say your funds get frozen, right? At least you have this 10% to live off, right? Or the stock markets all go to zero, which I think is 100% impossible, but you never know what might happen on this planet, right? Then you have this insurance, right, basically. So ask yourself what's your exit plan before you enter something. So the other question to really ask yourself, right, is what are your alternative investment opportunities, right? And I keep going back to this, right, because it doesn't matter that people are like, oh, you can make 20% here, you can make 100% here. It doesn't matter, right? What are your opportunities, right? What is something you can understand and you can make money with a high degree of certainty on, right? So for me, I think in Bitcoin, it's out of my circle of competence. But unless we get to a point where I think macro has bottomed, basically everything is being sold off, like everything, no matter what the asset is just being sold off, and the sentiment is extremely bearish, right? Then maybe I'll put 10 or 15% of my portfolio into Bitcoin, right? But other than that, I'm not doing it yet, right? So you might have remembered I was talking about this GBTC trade the other day. So anyone that saw this and maybe used this information, congratulations to you, because now it's sitting at 40% premium rather than the 50% premium, along with Bitcoin basically going up 30%, right? So when I was talking about it, it was somewhere around, I think it was somewhere around here, 48.3% kind of discount. So I actually managed to catch the exact bottom, right? The only issue is I didn't buy, right? Because I was thinking that Bitcoin still has a leg lower to go and things like that. And I still think that, right? So some people might be clowning on me, oh, it's up 30%. I still think that will happen, right? And I still think that there are other opportunities that I understand better in the stock market, especially now, right? So basically, I saw exactly what was going to happen, and I saw the lowest risk reward kind of play, highest risk reward kind of play, right? Lowest risk, highest reward, right? So basically, is this GBTC versus the Bitcoin, right? Because I was thinking that, you know, after the FTX saga, everything, Bitcoin has a higher chance to go up than down, right? And this premium was trading at almost a 50% premium. So if you buy this, it goes back to normal price. You already double your money. So imagine if Bitcoin goes up as well, right? And that's almost exactly what happened. But then, you know, I didn't buy. So what is my excuse for that? I don't exactly know, right? I just thought that I have other things that I was looking at that time. And I was a bit scared of the Genesis issue. I didn't know exactly how the resolution was going to be, right? And it's still not resolved now, right? But prices are moving. So I wouldn't exactly say, oh, I feel so bad that I missed this opportunity, right? So an opportunity that I feel really bad for missing is actually Silvergate Capital, right? Because, okay, this is basically a Bitcoin bank, right? What we call it is a bank, right? So I don't think this is as high risk as going into crypto, because I cannot yet determine the intrinsic value of crypto, right? I can only tell when sentiment is very bad. So those are the things that I can tell, right? Sentiment is very bad. Normally it's a good time to get into Bitcoin, right? Because I think 99.9% of people cannot value Bitcoin, right? How much is the intrinsic value, right? I'm asking you that. Because there is an intrinsic value for Bitcoin. It's just that how much is the 10% saving your portfolio worth, right? And to how many people is it worth something, right? So if you're enjoying the video so far, do help me smash up the like button, hit subscribe, and also hit the bell button and press on all, right? So this will really help out the channel. And also watch till the end, right? Because obviously you don't want to miss any important information. So a lot of people will not need this utility, right? So ask yourself what's the intrinsic value, and I haven't figured that one out, right? But I did figure out Silvergate Capital, right? I was thinking that, you know, a lot of the bad news has already been priced in, and maybe I haven't actually missed this opportunity, right? Because I was thinking this went down all the way to like 1050 or something. I was looking at it. I was ready to buy. I already knew my position sizing, and yet I chose not to do it, right? Because I was thinking that further down the road, this macro stuff is still very bad, right? And I use macro to try to do analysis for Bitcoin, right? Because I have no clear micro indicators, right? And that's my reasoning, right? Whether it's the right reasoning or whether it's the wrong reasoning, I do not know. But let's see, right? So Silvergate actually went all the way down to 1050, and it's at 1320 now, right? Which is like almost a 30% rally, right? So that is something maybe I feel a bit bad about missing out on, because this bank basically, due to the FTX saga, their reserves got collapsed, their redemptions went high up, right? They went from like, I think 11 billion of assets to 3 billion of assets in just like 1 quarter. So basically there's a bank run going on, right? But after I did all the analysis, I looked at their liquidity position. Basically they had enough liquidity to make all the withdrawals, right? Just that selling treasuries now is a very bad idea, right? Because as you notice, interest rates have been climbing, right? And the more interest rates climb, the worse the bonds prices that you can get on the open market, right? So it wouldn't matter if you can hold it to maturity, right? But the issue now is they cannot hold it to maturity, right? And that is a risk with Silvergate Capital, right? And also people are also scared, will the license get revoked because of the FTX saga? And those are some questions that I'm still trying to play out in my mind. Haven't really made a clear decision on whether I'm going to buy this or not yet, right? Because at that time I thought, okay, I want to put maybe a 10% or 15% of my portfolio position, right? And then I decided to give myself some time to think or whatever, right? So personally, I don't think this is like a huge rally for Bitcoin, right? Because if you take a look at other assets, right, I have 3 stocks in my portfolio, right, that the same thing has happened, right? Maybe not in 2 days, but in a span of 1 week, right? My one of my stocks, which is Warner Brothers Discovery, is up 35%. And it's like a 30 billion company. Look at Alibaba, look at Meta. Meta in the span of 2 months is up 50%, right? So whether you say, oh, these are too insane of rallies, I wouldn't say so, right? Because it's 32% over the past, I don't know, 2 months, right? But if we zoom down, it's basically, this is what people are talking about as being unhealthy, right? Which I do agree. It looks a bit like a bear market rally, but you never know until hindsight, right? Because what if this just continues going up to 30K, then it goes down a bit, and then it goes up, right? Then I would say the bear market is over, right? And this might have been the bottom, right? So after the FTX saga, but I don't know, right? So let's see. Next year, I'm not hoping that all the smoke clears before I get to enter my position, right? Because by that time, probably it'll be at 30K, and I wouldn't want to enter at those prices, right? But I am thinking that there is still a lot more opportunities out there with lower risk and higher reward. And also, I don't need to be taking this risk at the moment, right? So I'm looking for things to be extremely clear to me, right? It may not be extremely clear to the consensus or what at that time, right? I'm not saying everything in macro has to be good, right? But I'm saying I have to be able to see that it's incredibly bad, but it will get better, right? That is what I'm looking for, and for me to enter a position into Bitcoin, right? So that's about all I wanted to share today. If you did enjoy the video, do help me smash up the like button, hit subscribe, and also hit the bell button. With that being said, have a fantastic day ahead, and peace out.